Hey, everybody, look on the screen. Look on the screen. A police officer, now the victim of a Dusty classified human being. Her husband, he's who they have in custody. She is no longer with us, no longer here. Was a police officer, and now she's a victim of DV, domestic violence. You know, the cops, the one you call when things happen, when Dusty Dan gets violent, Mr. Wong doing wrong, Tyrone, where it always goes wrong. Those individuals, when Dustinas get out of pocket, still in fighting. Dusties do not know conflict resolution. Let's go ahead and get to the story, the clip here. Rest in peace, fair use. Let's check it out, people.
Other New York cop, this time an off-duty officer and the victim of domestic violence, deadly domestic violence, with a knife. Police discovered a gruesome scene at the cop's house in the Bronx after an argument, police say, with her estranged husband. He later turned himself in. Eyewitness News reporter Stefan Kim live in the Melrose section where she has just been identified. Stefan.
Well, Bill, as you said, the NYPD moments ago just identified this officer. She was off duty, 31 years old, Ariana Reyes Gomez. She was a transit bureau officer in Brooklyn. Neighbors here say early in the morning they heard arguing. Little did they know that argument would turn into deadly violence. NYPD crime scene unit investigators wearing Tyvek suits as they collect evidence from what is likely a horrific, bloody scene inside. An off-duty cop murdered, stabbed several times by her estranged husband at her Bronx home at 780 Grand Concourse.
Very bad, very bad. Realmente, that is very sad.
Now you have to be very careful these days, even with your own spouse.
So sad, it's a couple, and those kids involved from what we hear. Their parents, right? That's what we're hearing, so sad.
The couple has a 3-year-old son who was not home at the time of the murder. Before she died, she managed to call a relative who alerted police. The 34-year-old suspect, meanwhile, turned himself into the 50th precinct, where he's being questioned at this hour. The 31-year-old off-duty officer was found dead around 3 a.m. She was an NYPD officer assigned to the Transit Bureau in Brooklyn. Transit Bureau officers this morning gathered at her home, mourning as one. Neighbors say they just moved in a month or two ago and kept to themselves. Nothing out of the ordinary stood out until early this morning.
Like around 3 in the morning, the police, they locked her door, saying that someone called 911.
I only heard just that. Like that they were just arguing. This was completely out of nowhere for me. Never expected that to pop up.
The police don't have any prior domestic incidents involving this couple. Charges are pending against her husband.
Wow. Charges are pending against who? Wasn't killed on the job by some random psycho. A cop, the one with the badge. The one you turn to for help. Charges are pending against her husband. What did Mimo say?
That is very sad.
Now you have to be very careful these days, even with your own spouse.
Exactly. Even with your own spouse. Why? It's unfortunate, but sometimes you think you know people. There's a saying, the person you marry is not the one you divorce. And that can be true. Man, a divorce here, people can act crazy. Oh man, things you think they wouldn't do. Now, they said they just moved there maybe a month or so. Maybe she thought it was going to be a new start. But when you see these Dusties becoming unhinged, and ladies, if you are doing well in your career, your business, or your job, maybe you don't even have a business yet, but you're thinking about it. When you're doing well for yourself, Jealousy among friends can happen among women. It can also happen a heck of a lot with the spouse. Oh, yeah. It happens all the time. Meemaw's right. These days you got to be careful. You start seeing those anger signs. And women are emotional creatures. Oh, I'm going to make it work. Like the video I just did about the Cook County DA. The video I just did about old girl and her man. Going behind sitting up there with the game controller. Oh, she snapped the controller out of my hand. She slapped me. He called 911. Really? As I said before, said again. Telling my homegirl, I said, if you notice, when they get out of pocket, I noticed that with black men, they get out of pocket. And it goes wrong with a black woman. Ooh, girl, they're going to pull out all the stops. They'll be fighting you. You would think Mike Tyson done showed up and want to knuckle up. Dang, you want to swing that hard? Oh, man. And someone put in the comments the same thing, how they knew somebody was a black man married to Becky. She does the worst things, calling him the N-word. Yes. When it comes to a black woman ready to box up. So then I did that on the video I showed you. I'm like, hey, that lady, and that is case my name, but you know what I'm talking about. Kim Fox. I said, she may not be thinking. She said she already said that he wants to hurt her. I said, she might not be thinking. No, he's setting the stage, boo boo. Setting the stage for divorce, public record. Don't be surprised. He might try to pull a move, y'all, where he files and try to keep her out the house. Oh, yeah. Don't say what a person won't do. Try to keep her out the house. Well, Your Honor, we have had an issue of domestic violence, and so we're asking, since she has more means, for her to vacate the property until blah, 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 the divorce proceedings and the division of assets has been determined. You think he won't? You think he won't? I bet you he's got more money than her. Because see, let me tell you something about broke dudes, okay, compared to with money. When a man has money, a lot of them have more than one location. When a man has money, they can afford to move around, okay? Oh, yeah. They can afford to move around. Get another place, fully furnished. They can afford to go stay in some nice hotels, and I don't mean the extended stay. No, they can afford to stay in nice hotels because they're working, they got a business going, cooking and cleaning, they'll just eat out and changing the sheets. No. They can afford to do that. I've seen a black man, he was a little business owner. Oh, he was getting around, y'all. Ooh, he was getting around. He was married, had a small business. He had what they call, he had a whole pad. Oh, yeah. So he had him a whole apartment. Had a whole apartment, and it was like, how does he do it? Had a whole apartment sitting up there, and girls thinking that he was single and available. Now, he didn't have too much furniture, okay? He had basic, a bed, a sofa, TV. Didn't have too much furniture. And his thing was, his lie was, because I knew one of the girls, and that's how we found out. It's like, you do know he's married? He lives here. Girl, we know the wife. No, he has a house. But he said they divorced. Oh, okay. And it's hardly no furniture. Oh, okay. But he is married, just so you know that. Yeah. So when they got a little change, they can do that. That's how I know, in my opinion, with Kim Fox, the county district DA, when her husband called the cops, she must be the money maker. Because if he had some money, man, that dust bucket probably have his own place. Have a little whole pad on the side. Or if you want to call it bachelor pad, you can say that too. So he's setting the stage. I won't be surprised to hear about a divorce real soon. And he'll play victim, trying to get some money from her. Sometimes it's cases like this here, working every day. It may not be much money to get. And oh, by the way, don't forget they have children. So one parent, he's the suspected murderer. That's who they have in custody. Turn himself in. And she's deceased. Who's going to raise the children? So sometimes they get so angry, can't take it. Stab the girl. For him to stab her like that and stab her to death, that tells me he's been having some unresolved issues, some anger. Really has hatred for this woman. Stabbing is so personal. Stab you to death? So personal. That's, to me, I think that's that hatred escaping. Stab you. Wow. But here's one thing, and I know how women are. You can check it out for yourself. Sun Tzu. What does Sun Tzu say about knowing your enemy? He says, know the enemy and know yourself. In 100 battles, you will never be in peril. Don't know who the enemy is. Sometimes this enemy is sleeping right beside you. Know the enemy and know thyself. In 100 battles, you will never be a peril. Black women, we're a peril in 5.5 hours. Why? We don't know the enemy. We just say, oh, he black, and we make allowances for him. Been sopping up mammy biscuits all our lives and make an excuse for him. When you are ignorant of the enemy but know yourself, your chances of winning or losing are equal. If ignorant both of your enemy and of yourself, you are certain in every battle to be a peril. So you're ignorant of the enemy and of yourself. And sometimes when you think about it, this here when he says of yourself, that makes me think when you have your blinders on. You don't know you have your blinders on. Now it's not that. Somebody said, shut up. I want to hear all that. No. You got it all wrong. Just remember, if you're ignorant both of your enemy, sometimes it's that dust bucket beside you, that self-hating dust bucket beside you, and of yourself, got your blinders on. You are certain in every battle to be a peril. This lady right here, she didn't know her husband like she thought. People change. Again, a man and woman standing by a man, think he's there for you. I've heard it before, seen it. Get pregnant, got stomach mumps, he out to lunch. Or is it coming back? Don't know. You know what he presented to you. So that's how you gotta have it. So when it happens over and over again, hey, that's you. But yeah, don't know the enemy. A person starts acting aggressive, acting jealous of you, and especially when it starts getting physical, you don't know your enemy. Have your blinders on. You don't know yourself. You don't know that that person is about to end you. Can't see it coming in a million years until it happens. So can you imagine? She's thinking that she knows this man. This is her husband. Have children by him. That anger escalated. Stabbed her to death. So can you imagine, as you're leaving this world, the one that you so-called loved and everything, the death of you, things change. And this might be the real him that you see. No, and sometimes we don't want to see and end up on the screen. Dusties. They bring drama, death, and trauma. Imagine the children. Now, who's going to raise those kids? Life insurance, GoFundMe, what's up? Dusties bring drama, death, and trauma. The financial implications, the emotional, psychological implications, The hurt and pain for the loved ones and families, the children. There's too much dust in the nation. Feel free to comment, like, subscribe, and share. Look forward to hearing your thoughts. And I'm out. Dusties. You got a dusty in your life? A person that doesn't wish you well? Got a serious problem. These dudes, they will send you to go night, night. I mean on a permanent sleep. I'm out.